that was your experience.
Hi, everybody. It's Linda G. And I just noticed my hair is really frizzy. I'm
The
here
humidity,
today
right?
with Ness.
Hi, everyone.
And Ness is one of, if you guys notice her that go on my shows, she's one of my moderators, an excellent moderator too. And she studied astrology and she's really into it. And she read my daughter. She did an excellent job. So I want to intro her. You know, I like to intro new people. And tell us about yourself, girlfriend. You were going to bring a little opening now.
Yeah, no, hi everyone. I'm a moderator on Linda G's channel as well. You might have seen me in other channels as well. And I also do astrology. I've been doing it for actually a long time, and it's a more of a passion thing, like like an intellectual thing I like to do on the side of just like, oh, I'm curious what this will be for me and for other people. I actually grew up with astrology. I actually my mom's side of the family is from India, and so in India. I don't know if you've been to India yet, but it's very spiritual. I hope you get to go to India one day. The whole country is spiritual. Like woo is not like for like YouTube channels. Like woo's everywhere. Like the mayor gets his chart read, like the president, the prime minister gets his chart read. Like it's not a strange thing to talk about. It's just like in the water, in the air, and you can feel it too when you if you fly there and you go to the airport, you can feel it right away. Like it's just electric. But yeah, so I grew up with astrology. I had my chart read almost I think every year from like when I was 1 to about 10, and then I sort of grew out of it. Yeah, it's very common when you have a child, you often will do the chart, but a lot of the times you do the chart for often with Vedic astrology for every year. So it's basically shows like when the child will have like 10 years of good periods, bad periods, and basically does their whole life, like the next 60 years of their life. So yeah, so I that was my experience with astrology. And then I went to college, became very heady and intellectual, and then swing back to doing astrology later in my
And it's
life.
Vedic astrology.
I actually do Western astrology. It just works better for me. So
Okay.
Vedic, for folks who are not familiar with it, Vedic is like a rectangle and it looks like a window pane. And then whole sign or Hellenistic Western astrology is this wheel with 12 little wedges. And so the story is basically, astrology sort of came up about in the Middle East almost like 3 or 4 thousand years ago. And then one went one way to kind of India and more Middle East and Eastern kind of Asia, and that became more Vedic. And the other one went the other way to kind of like Europe, Mesopotamia, and that became the wheel. And so I do more of the wheel. It works for me. I don't think one is better than the other. I think these are tools like tarot. If it works for you, use it. If you want to use both, use it. If you only use one, go for it. But yeah, that's my background in
Wow.
astrology. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you had a little promo you were going to do?
Yeah, okay. So folks, I'm gonna just give my little infomercial bit now, and then we're gonna chit chat about astrology, and then we're gonna end on July's forecast. We have some interesting astrological placements for July. So yeah, I know it's very, very, very interesting. Oh, there we go. Little teaser of what's gonna happen in July. Let me go ahead and block my view just to make sure you can just see what's the most important bit. So I offer astrology. I offer 2025 transit readings, and that's like my main special right now. That's one I did for your daughter. And basically, like if I were a chef at a restaurant, this is the main dish I would make. Like this is what you would know me for. And it's really, really important because in right now, we're in this interesting time, and you must be feeling it too, Linda, kind of where you are. What this is considered like in astrological world is like we're in this new world, old world energy. Like it's a BCAC moment. We're like
Yeah.
ending things. We're ending chapters and we're starting new chapters. And so basically, since November 2024 to about July, all five of the outer planets, these are the ones that take longer to change, are all changing signs in basically about 6 months. And from what the astrologers I follow, they basically, it hasn't happened since 3,000 years for them to happen in this short amount of time. And so we're seeing it on a collective level, like governments are changing, leaders are changing. It's not just the United States, it's happening everywhere. It's happening in like Thailand, Philippines, everywhere. And it also means in your personal life, you are exiting and graduating chapters as well as starting new ones. And so this is the one I like to do for folks is a 2025 transit reading. I also offer birthday readings, natal chart readings, and then synastry readings, and I'm $88.88 per reading, which apparently is a third of the price of most readers right now. But that's because I just really believe in the number eight. Like I don't know if you've dabbled into numerology, but eight is really positive for abundance as well as like other good things. So that's kind of my rates. And then I'm also really into like new moon, full moon energies, but also manifestation. So I'm actually doing a class. So everyone here is like the second people that have heard this. There's a class coming up where I'm going to be teaching it on Lionsgate 8/8 in August. And this class is going to be two parts. It's going to be first part about manifesting techniques, but based on like neuroscience and woo-woo. So Linda, you must have come in terms of exposed to the woo at different times where like you had different leaders or teachers you followed. And so I have come up in a different time where I have like more people that are science-based, but now are going to woo-woo. Like Michael Pollan is a little bit, is academic and he's not going into a little exploring spirituality. Also, James Doty is also, he's a neuroscience and he's also doing more manifesting techniques. And so the first part is going to be like contemporary manifesting techniques with neuroscience and woo. And neuroscience can sound like, oh my gosh, that's a big word, but basically it means like the brain has tendencies on what it's trying to do. Like, for example, when it thinks of a goal, it'll only think of one goal instead of like four different goals. So like we kind of work with that. So the first part is manifesting, and the second part is the lunar cycles. So how to work with the new moon. In Leo, like for example, I think you have Jupiter in Leo, I think in your chart. No, okay. Sorry.
Is
Or
that
maybe
good
Venus in
though?
Leo.
Jupiter and Leo?
I think you have Venus in Leo. One of those two, Venus or Jupiter in Leo. So when
Venus
you,
is in Leo.
yeah, so you're actually the new moon that's coming up is actually very good for you for love. Oh my goodness.
Shoot.
You also are a Libra rising, which means in your 2025 transits, you're actually having a love story possibly too. Even the facelift that you did is part of your transit too. Your things are going to your fifth house, which means you're just choosing yourself, like joy and fun, and you're just doing it. Like basically, if you want to do it, you're going to do it. That's kind of
There
like
you
your
go. There you
your era
go.
that you're in right now. Yeah, it's quite a lot of fun, a lot of fun. But back to the course, I'm actually going to teach it twice in one day. I'm going to teach it in the morning and then I'm going to teach it in the evening. So we get the European folks in the morning and then we get the Australian folks in the evening. So email me if you want to be part of this class. I'm going to cap it at 25 people per because I don't want to go beyond that for size. And I'm also going to be generating a bunch of things like your charts and stuff. So I need time to kind of generate that. So email me for that. I would love to have you first as a student. Oh, and here's a little sneak peek of the July stuff that we're going to be sharing later. But yeah, I'm curious. Like you understand you're a Virgo, and
Yeah.
so what was your
And I
experience?
forget what I am, where I know I
You're a
have a
Libra
Libra.
rising, you're Virgo sun, and I guess your Venus is in Leo as well.
Yeah, but Jupiter is going into Libra, right? Or it's
Jupiter
at,
is actually is going to go into Cancer. But
okay.
that, yeah, but you have because you're a Libra rising, Pluto is an Aquarius and air sign, so they actually help each other out. So you're going to have a lot of transformation, which is also part of your transforming how you look. Um, and then Uranus is about to go into Gemini, which is an air sign. So you're actually having air signs are going to have a really good time coming up because of some of
Okay.
these 2025 transits. Yeah.
What sign are you?
I'm a Cancer sun. Libra rising, just like you. And I'm also a Capricorn moon. So
Oh, that's why
yes,
you're so grounded.
yes, and it's funny. I actually have a lot of placements in the Capricorn Cancer axes. It's almost like 70% of all my planets are basically there. But because of the math, I'm actually more Capricorn than Cancer.
Isn't that? And I'm probably more Libra than Virgo because
Oh,
I have a
interesting.
Libra moon too.
Oh, you have a Libra moon. Oh, your moon is
Hmm.
in your first house. That's also a psychic indicator. And you also have your sun in your 12th house, which is another psychic indicator. And your daughter has her sun in her 12th house.
Wow.
And your last husband, I think the one you had me read for, he also had his sun
Oh,
in his
that was
12th
my
house.
middle husband.
Your middle husband. Okay, your middle husband had his sun in his 12th house as well. Um,
Jesus.
yeah,
I
so
can't
it
even
was
remember the name of my last husband. How soon we
number
forget.
three.
Number three. Did my chart show that I was going to have such bad luck with relationships?
No, I do know, I haven't looked at your full chart, but I do know Pluto, because you're Libra rising. Pluto was going through your fourth house of home since 2007, 2008 to now. And I think basically 2007, 2008 was a really hard time for you. And basically you went inward. So that was actually possibly where you're not dating or you're not in relationships as much because you're just going inward and focusing on family and focusing on yourself.
When was
So
this again? What's the
2007, 2008, that's when Pluto went to your fourth
That's when
house.
I got cancer.
Okay. Yeah, you basically pulled away. You pulled away and you recentered to yourself and
Right.
really understood yourself, understood your emotions, your triggers. I would imagine with the cancer diagnosis, you might have really tried to understand almost like how do I need to be differently so I don't cause it or something? Like how do my emotions, like did my
Oh,
stress
that's
create
when I
it?
got hit really good from spirit, and that's when my abilities got really strong.
And it's true, but Pluto going through the fourth house is also a Cancer, a psychic indicator too, because you go inward, you go super inward. And I wouldn't be surprised if you have your IC in your fourth house, if it's a generational thing. You have other women in your line who are also psychic. It might
I
have,
I know my mom was very psychic, but she was afraid of it.
oh, she
And her
was.
mother apparently would sit with my grandfather's name was Moises Robles. He was a Mexican born in San Angelo, Texas, when it still belonged to Mexico.
Oh
And
wow.
uh, I have a cousin who remembers her sitting in the parlor with her grandmother.
Hmm.
My grandmother, my mom's mom, died very young
Oh
in
wow.
childbirth, like 30 something.
Oh
But
wow.
she said she remembered her reading for her. I don't
Oh,
know if she's reading the cards or something, but
her
she
tarot.
remembers it clearly.
Oh
And
wow.
it's so weird because when I asked all the sisters, all her daughters,
Yeah.
did your grandmother, was she psychic? They all said no. But remember too, they were very strict Catholics back in those days, and maybe
Yes.
she feared, you know.
Yes. Even today, some still deal with that. There's an actress Megan Fox, and she has it in her female family line. And she had to deal with that too, with the church and them thinking that they were going to go to hell because they had that witchy side, I guess. That's how she described
Yeah.
it, of it. Yeah, my maternal grandmother had it. So it didn't, my mom didn't have it, but it kind of skipped and went to me. So
My
it's
mom
interesting.
saw full out spirits.
Oh, interesting.
She
Yeah.
grabbed the gun next to her bed because she saw a woman float out of my brother's room and go into our room.
Oh,
And she went
wow.
into our room with the gun, ready to shoot somebody, and there was nobody there.
Oh, interesting. And did you have experiences as a child when
Well, I
you
saw Jesus when I was 8 years old. I had as close to an NDE as you can say
Yeah.
because now that I'm older, I
Yeah.
realize it was, but I was only 8 and I visited, and it was not a dream. It was
Yeah, real.
Technicolor Warner Brothers
Yeah. Yeah.
full on, and he was there.
Yeah.
But when I went back into my body, I was as cold as ice. So I probably went into a real slow
Yeah. Metabolism.
metabolism.
Yeah.
Something happened to my body that allowed them to take me out.
Were you sick and that's what happened, or
No,
just some sort of like
I
it
was
was an
fine. I
option?
was
Like it was,
asleep, and all of a
wow.
sudden, boom, I'm in paradise.
Oh my God. Yes. And
And
it's
then when I
so,
went back
yeah.
into my body, I was just as ice cold. And I didn't know who the man was that I saw. I told mom the next day, Mom, I visited this place and there was a big cross, and these women were telling me
Yeah.
to kneel. And
Yeah.
I knelt, and when I looked up, I saw this man. And so she says, "Oh, that sounds like," because she was a Catholic, but she
Yeah.
got very mad at the church because of what they did to the Native Americans, how
Mm,
they treated her mother. Rigor
yeah.
mortis had set in while
Yeah.
she was in birth for her seventh child.
Yeah.
They put them in schools run by nuns.
Yeah.
They were called Indian schools, but they were run
Yes.
by nuns, and they weren't very nice.
No, no, it was a form of control. It was a
Yeah,
total form of an extermination too with those schools. Yeah, I think for folks too, if you ever have that what you called, especially that dream, the vividness of the
yeah.
dream,
Oh, it was
that's
Technicolor. I could even feel the wind hitting my
yes.
face.
Yeah, I think for folks, Terry and Allie and Kelly and Diana have this dream stream. I think you
I've
attended one
been
of
there
them.
before.
Yeah, they have a Tuesday show every Tuesday where they decipher dreams, and I've had really interesting dreams. And when they are so vivid and they're so clear, it's like a visitation or just it kind of gets your attention. Like there's something else happening there. And it's
I
so
had
strange.
another dream of Trump being in a glass coffin
Yeah, you've talked about that
right
one. Yes.
before, right when he won the first term. It
Yeah.
was as clear as day. And it
Yeah.
was a dream, but it wasn't like the visitation,
Yeah.
but it was clear. And last night I had a dream about Netanyahu running for his life.
Oh, interesting.
And everybody's saying, ooh, they're trying to catch up with Netanyahu. And I think he was in the United States and he was trying to escape.
Run. Oh, I could see him trying to get seek Trump almost to protect him. That could have been a metaphor. He's like trying to get America to protect him
Yeah. Yeah.
from what the international community is thinking about him. It's very,
And I
very,
wasn't raised any religion.
yeah, yeah.
But yet I see St. Michael, I see
It's your
Mary,
goodness.
I
Yeah.
get hits, I get beautiful hits in mediumship realm on the heavenly side. And it's always they always assure me this too shall pass. They
So
always say that.
I have an odd que I have an opinion, but I have an odd question. So I don't believe the devil exists.
Uh,
But I believe what it is because if enough people believe it exists, it sort of exists, but not really. Like, if everyone puts their hands in a box and someone puts feathers in it and they all think there's a chicken, then the chicken, like if enough people believe, they think the devil sort of exists.
well, as a medium,
Yeah.
there is evil for
There
sure.
is, yes, yes, there are some darker souls. I
I
could
have
see.
fought against a couple of very evil, so I don't know if
Yeah.
it's devil related or what, but I have fought. I know there's a purgatory
Yeah.
that you could almost call hell, but I know there's evil.
Yeah.
You have the smell of it.
Yeah.
It's there and you got to protect
No,
yourself.
it's
But
I've
most people aren't connected. It's usually people
yeah.
will come around me and I know something's attached to them.
No, it was post like you talk about post your cancer, it kind of opened you up a bit. I had a trauma and post trauma. I was at my mom's house and this neighbors came over with their small child. And this child had the darkest energy I've ever experienced in my life.
Yeah.
And because I was wide open with the trauma, that's what trauma will do. It will kind of open you up a bit. And this child came in and I was like, what is, and that darker energy was like kind of hungry, like parasitic. It's just like, and I could feel it. I'm like, oh my God, what is, and I was like, we need to clean the house. Like we need to sage, but I've never felt that with the child. And it's interesting because you would think children are like pure and like
Oh, they love to get to
vessels.
that pure vessel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I finally saw that movie Ritual. I waited till it was out and I could buy
Oh
and
yeah,
rent
yeah.
it
It's got a
with
Al
Al
Pacino.
Pacino and Dan
Yes.
Stevens. Hated it.
Okay. Okay. It's
It
interesting. I like
wasn't
the one
scary
with
at all.
Russell Crowe. Did you see that one? The like he was the Pope exorcist. It was
That
like
was good. Yeah, I
two
saw
years
that
ago.
one.
Yeah. Sometimes these like Catholic exorcism movies are like a hit or a miss
Yeah.
in terms of
Yeah.
in terms of what they are.
I
Um
can't tell you absolutely there's no devil, but I can tell you, I mean, maybe it's true about the fallen angel because that can happen. You can be really good and then turn totally evil. But I can tell you there's a pretty significant purgatory,
hmm,
that you do to yourself. So
yeah. Yeah.
Hitler has to feel every single thing he did, even if he wasn't directly involved, to
Hmm,
every single person and feel the misery of all the families involved.
yeah.
And that is why he's basically stuck there forever.
Oh, interesting. Because the nuclear bomb ness of how much trauma he has created.
Yeah.
And
So whatever these people are doing now, know that they will have to. I mean, Trump is down there bragging about these alligator place, and I thought
I know he's
this
taking a
is kind
tour.
of like Rome. Why don't you set up the places for people to
Oh, the
sit and cheer?
Colosseum, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
with
like
the
why don't you
lions.
set up places for people to sit and cheer on the eating of humans by alligators? That's how they act.
It's very yeah, and he didn't visit the state Minnesota person that
Oh
was
no, he
enslaved.
didn't even say. He did say it was sad. Of
Did
course, the parents are Trumpsters of the guy that killed those Congress.
oh the person the suspect who did
Yeah,
or the I guess the murderer. Did you see the photos of Kamala and Biden at the
You know,
funeral? Yeah, they were holding hands. I
I
don't know if you
know.
saw that. It's kind of very it was a strong embrace. Like they
And
were
poor
holding each
Waltz
other's
was
hands.
just devastated.
Yeah. And I miss that. I miss that level of nobility of of it versus kind of
I don't
where we
see
are
Trump holding hands with nobody.
now. Maybe he's
Oh,
paid to.
but him and Elon Musk. What sign is Elon Musk?
I think he's a Gemini, actually. I don't, it's interesting. I don't, so that's like, I don't follow that many like political people and like their charts. I sometimes notice like, oh, he's a Gemini and this Geminis are having a hard time right now, which I'll get to in July because there is a moment for Trump. He's gonna have two big moments in July. But I
Good,
like
good.
regular people. Like I like regular people. You must do that too with tarot. Like when you have a regular person reading and you just like look at their lives and try to help them versus like going in the political sphere, like in terms of it's a different like hat you wear. And so for astrology, I like just regular people and like regular things that they're
Yeah,
looking at. And
I don't do too much regular people on my show because
yeah.
I'll be honest with you, nobody watches if you do regular people.
Oh, interesting. You have to do the
It's
political stuff.
almost like people want to know what's going on. People
Yeah.
want to know when is he leaving. If the sooner I can say this is the date, but you can't, you know. But people want to know
Yeah.
what are we looking forward to. So basically, I said the bill would pass, and it did pass today. It
Yeah, they
still
did an
has to go
all-nighter.
to Congress.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, his people, Trump's people, are going to suffer terribly.
Yeah. It's quite, yeah. And the astrology for the fourth is very interesting too. So that'd be interesting to see if it
Oh, well,
connected
should we
to.
get into July?
Yeah,
July?
let's get into July. Let's get into it so you can see a bit of
But
it.
real quick, too, also, there's a big fight between Elon and Trump.
Yes.
Trump just said, I've never liked electrical cars, never have.
He did.
Yes, and he said, I've made it clear to Elon, I'm not an EV person. And he said that I don't believe in pushing it down people's throats, which I kind of agree with, but they're trying
Yeah.
to save the environment. But he never was for it. He said that. And then he said they're looking into seeing about sending Elon back to
Oh,
Africa.
these were the messages he said last night, like the big tirade of I haven't checked them, but I heard that he did send something. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I think because Musk, I think, is neurodivergent. He's, a little, which is totally fine, in terms of
Well,
just
he took
possibly.
his 300 million, of course,
Yeah, I think somehow he was
or
sort of
billion or
tricked.
whatever.
I think
Yeah.
somehow Musk was actually tricked, which is sometimes hard to understand. He's like the richest person in the world, and he was tricked. But I think Trump sort of just told him like, "Hey, we're gonna just, we're gonna make it better. We're gonna optimize things. We're gonna fix it up." And he did a bait and switch on him. And I think he's
Yeah.
kind of,
And
I
also, Elon just announced if this budget passes,
yeah,
says I'm going to start you know, a new
a
team.
party. Yes, yes, yeah. And
And Trump announced today that what was that group that Elon started?
the
That went,
Doge, the
the
Doge.
Doge was totally worthless.
Oh, they like the cuts they did was not.
No, he said
Ooh.
they did absolutely nothing to help us.
Oh, that's a burn. That's a burn. Oh my gosh.
So
I
the
mean, you're right.
plastic
It is
things,
a
you
it's a
guys.
real tete-a-tete. And also today, July 1st is the day for the anonymous thing too. Today
Oh,
was the
was he supposed
deadline.
to come out with something?
It's supposed to come out today. It hasn't come out. Basically, they said 38 days ago, like 38 days or 35 days, we're going to announce something. And that was basically July 1st. So
Okay.
we'll see if they are. They have announced that they were going to do things in the future, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. So
Okay.
we'll see in terms of what that would be. I think even Libby from Maestro Tarot, she pulled cards on what they were going to reveal. And I think Sterling read on this is all from Lisa Foster. Lisa Foster paraphrased this for me, but she said basically Sterling and Libby both pulled that it's something to do with treason. So it's not about voting, but it's possibly something with treason, like it's grounds for treason
With Trump.
with Trump. Yeah,
I've often heard that he would be found to be a treason president.
it's very, very, very
So, and
interesting.
Sterling and Libby are two of my faves.
Yeah, yeah, they
Yeah.
very, very much so. Yeah, actually, my background is very similar to Sterling. He worked in consulting and like and I also worked in consulting. So it's a very interesting thing where I think he was using his abilities at work and didn't realize it. Because you have to like people hire you, they come in and they say, "What's my problem?" And you look at that and you give
He's
them,
real good at that. Yeah.
yeah, you give them what their problem is. And that you do for the corporate world, but you can also do it for regular people in terms of like tarot and stuff. So, yeah, it's very, very interesting. Yes, we'll see. We'll see by the end of the day what they revealed. Okay, let's go into July's astrology. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is what I call the sky path for July. So this is something I drew up, and basically what it is, it shows from July 1st to July 31st where all the planets are. So here is Venus. So this is where Venus started on July 1st, and then it just moved all the way across here to here on July 31st. So you can kind of just see where all the planets are moving, and you can see some planets are moving a lot, like Venus, Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and some planets are barely moving, like Pluto. Pluto doesn't even move. And so for when you look at July as an overview, you're noticing a couple things. First, the Sun and Mars are sextiling each other. So they're helping each other out. Sextile means they're helping each other out. And so this little wedge is the Sun, and this little wedge is Mars. And they're basically helping each other out all of July. So for you, in your individual life, you're going to have a lot of energy to do things. So if you're feeling like a little bit tired recently, or like, it's just like more fatigued, with this particular transit, you're going to feel more energy. You're going to feel more energy to kind of like get things done on your list, more energy to move around, to go running, go hiking, go working out. I know, Linda, you and your workout, you start every morning with
Shoot.
your cardio. But, other things, just like things that you might be feeling tired with, you're going to feel a lot of energy. You could also feel more irritated, because it's just a lot of fire activity. So just be aware of that. The other thing to notice, is Venus is going to square Mars. So that's this thing right here. Venus is this wedge and Mars is this wedge, and this is a square, given the angles. And
Yeah.
these, if you look at these wedges, they're about the same size. So even though there's going to be a particular date that they're going to square each other, you're going to feel it all of July. And Venus is like women, harmony, beauty. You're a Libra, you're ruled by Venus, so you're going to actually feel it a bit more. And then Mars is actually in Virgo. This is interesting. This is you're going to have this impact your sun. So you're going to feel a lot of, actually, you're going to feel a lot of vitality for you in particular. For the Virgos that are joining us, the Mars is actually in your sign right now. So you're actually feeling a lot of energy. So if you think, I know you just came back from that retreat, so you're probably feeling a little tired,
No,
but
I actually feel pretty good.
oh, you feel okay. I was going to say, if you look at back where you were a month ago, you should
I
feel a
was
lot more.
tired.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, you should feel a lot more energetic, to kind of do things, and you're gonna kind of feel all of that. But then there's a possibility with you, Linda, but everyone else too. There's gonna be some sort of tension between you and relationships. There's some sort of like push and pull that's sort of happening, between harmony in relationships versus like standing up for yourself or what you feel is right, and kind of be irritated. And this is gonna be all of July. And then also a bunch of planets are going to go retrograde by the end of the month. So July 31st, Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, and Mercury all retrograding, which means you're not doing new things, you're just thinking back. So everyone might be thinking a bit more about things that just happened in the past a bit when we get to the end of the month. And this actually all sets up for a pretty intense August. So July is pretty mellow in comparison to August because there's going to be some showdowns that are going
In
to happen
August?
in August. Yes, because there's Pluto is trining Uranus. There's a sextile also with Saturn and Neptune, but we're looking at there's possibly going to start to have some squares emerge with where these planets are heading, and there's just a lot of energy in the air. So it's kind of it's going to things are going to be moving. There's going to be fireworks. There's just going to be a lot of events that are going to be happening. Where July is a bit more mellower. So for folks, if you want to take a break a bit more, enjoy time with family, work on creative projects, enjoy yourself, do that a bit more in July because August is going to be a lot of air and fire sign energy. And when that fire sign air energy means like air energy means you'll get a lot of information. You don't know what's right, what's wrong. You're going to maybe overthink. And then fire energy means you're going to you're going to be irritated. Like you want to do something. You're going to want to like go out and advocate in the community. You're going to send an angry email to your congressman and like you're going to have a fight with someone. So that's kind of the energies that we're going to head to in August. This is a snapshot
And
of
how does that, all those planets do with Trump, with the Gemini?
yeah, it's interesting. The biggest thing for him, I would say, is the fact that Uranus is entering his sign of Gemini. He's going to have Venus in his sign first. So if you see this, this is Gemini, his sun. You also have to consider his moon and his rising sign. But just looking at his sun sign, you have Venus going through his sign for most of July. So he's actually going to feel pretty good most of July, especially the first week of July. He's going to be kind of be riding high. And then Uranus also enters his sign. So there's going to be some disruption, but it's going to be softened a bit with Venus in it. And then when Venus leaves, he's going to start to feel the full flare of it. And that's what August is. So this is
Okay.
July. So Venus is softening all the stuff that's happening for him. But when Venus moves on over here to Cancer, it's not protecting Uranus in his sun sign. So he's going to start to feel a lot more changes and disruptions. And Uranus also represents the brain. So there could be more mental issues where he's like making slip ups or he's saying the wrong thing or he's having trouble making decisions. So he's actually protected. His brain health is actually probably much more protected this month. In July, and then he's going to have some sort of wheels are going to go off the cart next month. So yes, in terms of everyone to prepare for that. So this is July as a whole, and let's actually go to the key dates that are happening in July, which is July 24th. I'm just going to go straight ahead to it. That's the big blockbuster day for July. And we have a new moon in Leo. And in this particular new moon, it's really important because this new moon in Leo, that's a symbol for Leo. This is a new moon. At the same time, the sun and moon are going to be in Leo and they're trining, which means they're really helping each other out in Saturn and Neptune. So a sextile and a trine. A sextile is very helpful, but it's more like, oh, you need eggs? I'll give you eggs because you're making a recipe. Oh, you need a tool like a hammer? I'll lend you my hammer. But trines are different. Trines will roll up their sleeves and like, who do we need to kill? Like, I'm gonna go, which body do we need to bury? Like, they're helping each other a lot more. And so you're seeing this trine between the sun, the moon, Saturn, and Neptune, which is very transformative, honestly, like big change. And at the same time, the sun and the moon in Leo are going to be opposite Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto and the sun are opposite during this new moon. So that's blockbuster. That's Pluto in Aquarius is power of the people, democracy, what the will of the people, the Constitution, America. And then Leo's sun is a leader. There's a leader, a dictator, and he's opposing the people. And it potentially is a new moon, which means there potentially could be a fall of a leader on this date. It might not be Trump. It could be someone else. It could be another world leader. This also could be a celebrity, but it's highly likely this is going to be a very bad day for him. And it's because of the will of the people. There's some sort of pushback by the people, or there's some sort of like clear moment he violated the people in some way. And so you have your Venus in Leo, and new moons represent beginnings. So there potentially could be a romantic moment. I don't know where you're going to be on the 24th or the couple days before, but there potentially could be a romantic rendezvous for you in terms of that particular day, or there could be you starting a timeline where that is where you're going to pursue that. You're a Libra rising where you're having actually a lot of planets in your seventh house of relationship. And then you have Pluto in your fifth house of like pleasure, joy. So you're actually radiating a lot of fun and joy, and happiness. I mean, I don't know, Linda, if you've seen a video of you 3 years ago versus now, you look very different.
What do you
Like,
mean?
you're like Benjamin Button.
Oh,
You're like, you might feel different, but I know like you are radiating a lot more
well,
energy.
that's the energy of the spirit. That's the beautiful subscribers we have. Everybody's all working towards the same. That
Focus.
that's
Yeah.
like a vibration coming through me.
Well, you're harnessing that vibration because you're radiating it. Pluto's in your fifth house of joy, dating also too, and pleasure. And you also have a bunch of planets in your partnership house. So that's very potential both for you, Linda, but also for the Libra risings that are on the call for having some romanticness. And for you have Venus in Leo, there's potentially something that might start this date. So if I were, you were a client and I was looking at your chart, I would say go out and go to a restaurant on this day or just be out a little bit more. Okay. Let the chance encounters just
I don't
be
really need that, but okay.
just yeah. I would, just see what happens and see what the universe might want to
I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. I've been married 3 times. Definitely not looking for a
it
husband.
isn't, yeah, it might not be marriage. It could just be fun. Like that
There
could
you
be
go.
the nature of it. Just fun, someone to spend time with, someone to share. share things.
Maybe he'll come knocking at my door.
Who knows? You got to plan the restaurant that you might just be at. He might be there too.
I
So,
don't like to stare.
yeah, it's very. I think he's actually in a movie coming up too. So,
That dragon movie.
oh, the drag. Okay. Okay, so the 24th is the one to be aware of. And usually new moons have to do with beginnings, but because there's a Pluto here, there's actually something that has to die. So there's something we're going to have to let go of. So, for example, like with these transits and where we are with Trump and stuff, like it can be hard to like accept this is where we are. Like some of us might want to go, oh, I remember Barack Obama, 2007, Hope and Change, or like Biden, 2020, like it could be hard, but there's something you have to kind of let go of and go, okay, we're not going back. There's a sense of we're not going back. This is the new norm and we need to accept it. And so that's going to be on the collective level, but it's also likely on the individual level you're going to feel that. And the other date to watch out for is July 4th. Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So, July 4th is the solar return of the United States. And so, this is the first solar return when we've completed all our Pluto retrogrades. Sorry, our Pluto returns. So, basically, Pluto return, we had our Pluto return, which Pluto went around for America, for where it was in 1776. And so we're at an interesting point where we're actually choosing ourselves again. We're choosing our constitution again. We're choosing the same concepts of 1776. And do we actually want to be what we were then, like those beliefs, or do we want to be something new? And so this is um, both a positive and negative. We could choose something very positive. We could add new amendments that will possibly prevent us being in the situation we're in now. And we could
Yeah.
add different constitutional amendments. We could really redo the Constitution to match now. Maybe the election process. We can change how we vote and the electoral college. And like, it's very potential for cool new things. But it also is a potential for darker things, which is where we are now, where it's like the ICE raids and the birthright citizenship, and it is this no due process for deport. So there's a potential we are going to rewrite the Constitution in a positive way or a negative way because we're sort of choosing ourselves again with the solar return of America again. And this is going to be an interesting theme for the next year in terms of this like identity crisis that America will have, and it'll show up in different ways. And so on this particular date, so when you do like a birthday reading or a solar return reading, where the planets are on your birthday is going to represent the dominant priorities you're going to have for the next year. And so for America, these are the priorities. So this day is going to start with Venus in Taurus conjunct Uranus in Taurus. So basically, Venus and Uranus are conjunct in Taurus in America. And Taurus is in America. I think I think America's a Sagittarius rising, if I'm accurate. I don't really do mundane astrology too much, but I think that is the case. If that's Sagittarius, Gemini, Taurus. Oh, it's eighth house. Okay, so this is our eighth house of trauma, psychology, and inner world. So basically, Venus represents woman, money, harmony, relationships, people, being together. Venus, Uranus represents disruption, lightning in a bottle. It's like Mercury to the 10th power. It is rebellion, out of the box, and these are going to come together. So we're going to see a lot of rebellion activity possibly for the next year, possibly maybe with women. Women are going to be maybe rebelling a bit more of that feminine energy, might be rebelling a lot more. We might see more female politicians pushing back the next year. This is a Taurus sign, which can represent money. We could see the US dollar going up and down, possibly the next year. The stock market can possibly going up and down, but something needs to change. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump tries to change the US dollar system, like maybe try to back it by some other thing than because we use gold right now, I think, right? In Fort Knox to kind of
I
back
think so,
our
yeah.
yeah, he could be proposing something else with this in the next year. And it seems like women or that harmony energy are going to fight back that type of activity. So this is an interesting type of thing. This for will be experienced for America, and on this particular day, it's also a good day to buy a lotto ticket.
Okay.
I don't recommend it that often, but on this particular day, I do recommend possibly buying a lotto ticket. And you only need to buy one. I think it's like $1 or $2 because if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. You don't have to, buy 10 tickets or 20 tickets or anything like that. It's just one. But with this particular day, there's potentially financial up and down, but also relationships in your love lives. You could have some disruptions that happen this day. You could be more disruptive to your relationships. You want to push back. There also could be a need to want to go out and spend. You might want to go to, go on the internet and just buy a bunch of clothes or something like that, like just like changing up how you look. But that's an interesting kind of placement of that particular day. And I'm curious, have you tried to reach us on July 4th and the energies of that day?
Have I?
Yeah.
No, but I'll do something today or tomorrow.
Okay, when you do one of the the non-lives, the recorded sessions. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very very interesting thing. I think even Midas Touch posted that they already put barricades
Yeah, by the
around.
treasury and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because they're anticipating either protests on the 3rd or possibly something happening on the 4th.
And the other thing, we don't forget, we've got countries that hate our guts. We could
Yes.
have terrorist action.
Yes, yes. I actually did a recording with Kevin Chandler, and he saw that as a possible timeline for July 4th. He doesn't want a fear monger, but it was a possible timeline that could possibly take on the 4th. Yeah. And so it's a very interesting day on this day also too. After Venus does this conjunction with Uranus and kind of gets loaded up with that Uranus energy, Venus goes into Gemini. So we're going to have a very strong year where it's going to be about information, friends, social. So for America as a whole, we're going to be a lot more social, a lot more people coming together and doing things and talking and chit-chatting and sharing information. There could be some interesting things with the news. Like, there's a whole thing of is the news really reporting what they think they are? I think a lot of folks come to you, Linda, because they want to get the real news, almost like what's
Right,
the X-ray goggles about what's really happening. And
right,
so there could be something where the news sort of softens a bit. Like it's not going to be so like remember with the Jake Tapper, he was like, we were hiding Biden's thing the whole time or not, like there's a thing where you have to just like you might trust the news a bit more in this year in terms of what they're able to do. And yeah, the 23rd also has some flares, but we also talked about the 24th yeah, so those are the two big days.
okay.
The
We
23rd, the
should
20
get together again August 1st and you give us the thing for August.
Yeah, I would love to do that. And then one other
Be
thing
our
for
monthly girl.
yeah, I give you a little quick blurb about each month. One thing
Yeah.
you were saying about Trump is Uranus is going to enter Gemini on the 7th. So he's going to be flying high this first week. So folks, if you're hearing just positive news about Trump, like he's winning, he's winning, he's winning. I sometimes get text messages from Lisa Foster. She's like, he's winning again. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's
Yeah,
okay.
no, we know that budget's going to pass, but don't trust me, that they've all signed their death warrants.
Yes, yeah. So it's folks, they're you're gonna maybe hear some good news for Trump this whole week, and then possibly some hiccup. And he's gonna have Venus in his corner for most of July. So even though he has this hiccup, it's gonna be blessing him. And what we're gonna possibly see is something's gonna happen around this day where he kind of makes a misstep, and then he's sort of scrambling a little bit. He's gonna be doing a lot of different actions. It could be Elon Musk versus Trump, and they're just sort of having a snafu. But he's gonna be sort of scrambling a bit for the next 2 weeks to kind of either hide it with another news article or something, and then he's going to likely make a misstep here. I have a feeling this is possibly Trump and maybe other world leaders. There's something where they make a misstep. They go too far. And then there's some sort of sense where the people are going to push back, and then we're going to have Venus go into Cancer. Venus is relationships, Cancer is nurturing, and America is a Cancer sun. So I think we're going to see a lot more people coming together and being and trying to heal from whatever happened here, possibly by the 3rd. I would imagine it maybe takes a couple of days where people are in a shock of like, wait, what just happened? Is this really what I think it is? And then people start to move into action towards the
Well,
end of
he
the month.
just took off sanctions against Syria because they're going to build a nice tower in his name.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's just on the news.
oh my goodness gracious.
It's all
He's
about
gonna,
what you can give him.
yeah, I think I'm so curious when the history book describes him, like 10 years from
Oh,
now.
he'll be one of the worst presidents
Yeah,
ever.
when like the
Oh,
fifth,
apparently Fox News showed that Obama was, I guess they did a thing to see who was the most popular. Obama was considered the best president, United States president, and Trump was the last.
on
And they
Fox
actually
News.
said it out loud on Fox News, and Trump went crazy.
Oh my, oh yeah, of course he doesn't want that information. I'm curious about what he thinks, like Obama and his thoughts about this whole process.
Oh, Obama's sick to his stomach. All the presidents are because he's just, but look what the Supreme Court's done now.
Yeah.
And he won't stop the voting. He may think he's going to stop it, but he's not. Trust
Mhm.
me.
Hmm.
When the midterms happen, and there's so many Democrats versus Republicans,
Yeah.
when the midterms happen, he won't even be able to, you know, stop bills from going through because they can override it. That's how
Yeah,
good.
exactly. Yeah, logically, you're right. It's completely
And
right.
then when the new president comes in, he's got all these powers. Not that he's going to make an idiot of himself, but he'll be able to turn things over
Yeah.
quickly because Trump did.
Yeah. And it's interesting. Yeah, everything they're doing to kind of give Trump green lights is actually going to turn around and make the next candidate, who's in theory most likely Democrat, just, and I think they actually know. I think the Republicans, what is it? The the senator, he's just announced he's not going to seek re-election.
Ellis?
Tillis, yes, like because he knows. He
Yeah.
knows like the bill is the writing on the wall in terms of
But you know what they were saying? They were going to, what did they call it when they tried to take you out of office? Trump was talking about that. We're going to look at new people. Hello, how short is our memory? When they had a whole bunch of people come up, all of Trump's recommendations
yeah.
lost except one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Having his name behind you doesn't give you.
No, it only works for him. They did the research. It only works, Trump's endorsement only works for Trump.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it won't work for, yeah, for the midterms next time. And it's for someone like me, and I watch a lot of other readers too. A lot of them are seeing something obviously in July, which is probably that July 24th, which we're seeing. And then they all see something around September too. A lot of folks are seing something that like Susan Lin, Arthur. They're seeing something that possibly
I haven't talked
changes.
to Andre. Has Andre been on in a while?
No, I haven't. I have not. Yeah, yeah,
I'll
you can
have to
talk
get
to
a
him.
hold of him
Yeah,
and see what
yeah,
he's.
ask him about it. But it's interesting. I think when you go to a bunch of readers and you just see the like on a map what they're all saying. There's something about in July and there's something in September as like some sort of turning point,
Wow.
possibly for it. So yeah, and let me actually, for folks, actually, let me go back to the last one. Just for folks who want to book with me, again, I'm $88 a reading. Email me here. This is my email. It's three
Astrology
S's,
Ness with three
astrology,
S's.
3 S's, and I'm actually a third of the price of most astrologers, but I believe in this number eight. I think this eight's gonna unlock doors for me, so I'm sticking with it for now. And then I'm also doing the manifestation course. So please, I would love to have you as a student. It's going to be 2.5 hours. There's going to be printable worksheets, and you're going to have a lot of fun too. It's going to be a lot of content, a lot of information. I even just have the books all by me because I'm working on the curriculum. Yeah, and also
You,
for folks, I'm a mod, and I'm now here. I just want to say for folks that are the lurkers, or the folks that are mods, or the folks that are just drawn to your channel, of different age groups. I've, I want to say that a lot of you actually are intuitive and gifted
yes,
yourself, and you'll be surprised. I think there's a reason why you're here. I want to just say there's a reason why you're here, not just because Linda will give you X-ray goggles for the news, but I think subconsciously you understand this is real and you almost want to learn how to do it yourself.
yes,
I've
yes,
I've had so many people I've done the readings and I look at their chart. I'm like, oh, you've got psychic indicators. Like
yeah.
you've got really clear psychic indicators. So I just want to applaud the folks that are here and that are watching and that are mods or that are helping out. That I want to say 9 out of 10 times you actually are gifted yourself and you're just learning.
Right.
You're just
Yeah.
learning. So yeah.
Okay, you guys. Well, this was great, girlfriend. I gotta upload this and then I have another show at 12.
Oh, you're busy,
I've been
busy.
getting a lot of requests for collabs and I don't want to not include other people,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
some of the people I don't know who they are. You, I know.
Yes, yes, no worries. Yes. And if anyone
All
sees me
right.
in the chat,
So we
say
should
hello.
talk on August 1st.
Yes, we'll talk because August is some interesting astrology. Yeah, we'll be
Okay.
back again for August.
I'll put it down on my calendar.
Awesome. Okay.
Bye,
Bye,
you guys.
everyone.
Thank you for coming. Cheers.